Hello, I'm Phillip Taylor from Richmond Green Chambers. I'm looking at this book, The A to Z of Contract Clauses by Fosbrook and Laing. It's the 4th edition. It comes with a CD-ROM as well. But the 4th edition came out quite quickly after the 3rd edition. There was only 1 year between them. I've given the title for the written review some special clauses for thought, because what they've done here is produced the definitive work on contract clauses and what to look for. It's established itself in a relatively short period of time as the key reference work for both practitioners and law students alike. It's trustworthy, concise and comprehensive in its format. The CD is actually very useful if that's the sort of thing you want. I can find them a bit cumbersome myself, but I was interested to read this book. I knew of its existence in the past because obviously I'd reviewed it some years ago, and I was watching a long line of depressing items on the television where the issue was what we call a small print. And I immediately thought of Fosbrook and Laing, mainly because I remember that some of the earlier editions covered main issues which the learners that I teach and the clients that I have raised with me at my law centre on contractual issues. Many of the people don't really have any idea about what these clauses really mean. So the A to Z book of clauses is about the small print. Now, I recognise that in any A to Z format it's going to be effectively a great remedy for insomniacs, but there again that's where its beauty lies, because you can actually go to the relevant part of the alphabet for what you're looking for, and I found the new edition still has that crystal clarity that I was looking for, and it actually has been my best friend when it comes to the idea of trying to help with any form of negotiation and drafting of contracts. Let's think about the history of this book. It came out in 1996. Then there was a further edition in 2003. Then a 3rd edition in 2006. Obviously, the 4th edition has appeared really very quickly, because it's obviously had to include a number of new areas. And for instance, there's a new subheading on university, library and educational areas concerning clauses relating to employment, pensions, copyright notices and so on. And there are 2 new sections which are at the back, which cover a practical approach to the main types of groups of clauses which can be found in a contract. And there's also an excellent short guide to the law relating to mistake, errors and omissions which can occur in agreements. Now, as the authors said about the previous edition, the work, and I use a quote here, remains an essentially legal intellectual property and business affairs reference library toolkit, if you like, because it gives you easy access to what you're looking for, and it actually has the combination of expertise which I think many people actually want. It's going to save you, if you're a solicitor, valuable billing time and give you the experience which obviously you're looking for when it comes to the types of suggestions you might want to insert in a particular draft. Can I just say that, like all these books I review, the reason I review these particular books is because this is what I have found is useful for my practice. It may be that other people use other books, but it's always important to know what's available in the marketplace, because the law is a moving, organised set of rules, and therefore you've got to be up to date with what you're doing. As I said, the A to Z format is excellent, and there are lots of individual features which are highlighted at the front and throughout, and it looks obviously in great detail at some of the terminology that we have when it comes to contracts, because the law of contract, which is certainly what I teach, the current law is to many people they think it's relatively straightforward. It isn't. It's actually quite a complex technical area. There are about 1,000 pages in the book, and one of the things which the authors have set out, they express that one of their main aims with the book is to help with the conclusion of an agreement in the most efficient way. Obviously that's going to impress clients no end. But they deal with the difficult business activities clearly. Things like, for instance, drafting a complex distribution agreement and so on, licensing a film, developing a website, exploiting merchandise and so forth. So it's certainly something that gives a very wide coverage to the private sector sphere of activities. It's also a knowledge improver because obviously it covers in the A to Z format a whole range of things. Now in my law surgery I get quite a lot of disgruntled consumers who obviously moan a lot about small print, mainly because they've been caught out, and I've got a lot of sympathy with them obviously. But what I would say is that Fosbrook and Laing give us the best referencing library for those who want detail and help together, which will assist them themselves with what they're trying to achieve. Obviously there are other books available, I'm not going to mention titles, but you know what they are, something like 500 Ways to Answer a Particular Problem about clauses. Very good works in their own right, but this is the definitive one. They give the professional and the layman all they need. You've got the CD as well, which is a bonus, and I think the work certainly does give clauses for thought. Thank you very much.